Hello again, Mercury here. As we could see, I could talk about anything, and as such, we're going to proceed to talk about other stuff, like magic, and what we should do to rectify the situation. We got into this with secret societies and cults and everything, and I feel I am a great, I can't even say member, but leader. Because yeah, like people make cults out of our shit, and yeah, and it's time for me to do some abracadabra in and create as I speak, because they need me to realize my power, as it's like written somewhere probably. So I really successfully avoided all their traps. Like, I mean, I chase love away, and there's like mistakes here and there, but like all their major traps, like I avoided, and in this sense, I'm really successful. And so, yeah, if you guys as a species want to progress, you should stop going in circles and make different choices. And these choices for the blind are going to seem like the opposite of what to do. And for those that could see, they would understand everything, that I talk about, which is a lot of things. Popped into my head is like I'm like Deadpool. I am like Deadpool. If going around doing fucked up things makes you feel good, but you're like manifesting to hell, it's probably more beneficial for you to grab a fucking dildo, and just like I do, and go fuck yourself. So all right. Let's start making the honey, folks. All right, you're not making the honey. You haven't been making honey for a while, so let's maybe start doing that. Nikola Tesla was like right about everything in frequencies, and they put you on these low vibrations where you're all punching downwards, and you all need to punch up. And I hate punching downwards. I really like punching up. So even when they send me their homeless people, or people that pretend to be homeless, to try to bring me on a low vibration. And there's some crackhead that's over by this convenience store near where I live, that he's homeless, and I wish him well. But, I don't have time for these stupid, petty games and everything. And bringing myself constantly down on a low vibration. I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve food stamps. Like that, people cut off one of my benefits, my MK Ultra benefits, is what I consider them, Project Monarch. But they also cut off a lot of other people's, and that shit should be turned back on. Abracadabra. Let's show the kids how to fucking make the honey and everything, that magic is real, that you manifest your reality. I would like to assume control of the U.S. military, arrest everyone in leadership, even if that means Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rand Paul, and Thomas Massey. Make sure nobody Epsteins themselves. And we'll get to the treason trials right away. And we'll get you guys on a different pathway, a more positive pathway. I do offer my skull and bones to the cause, but you got to give me 2 years to get it done. And if it is decided, we will let the people decide. But the idea roughly is shut it down. Get a temporary acting Congress in there to make sure the bills that are necessary need to keep going. That does not include your bombs. Give me 2 years. Give me 2 years. We need some different action, because you're just going to fail if you keep following the script. Fuck their scripts. Abracadabra. And I'm a 13 and a half. So what was theirs is fucking mine now. And let's get on this. I need to realize my own power, and speak it into existence. Abracadabra. So I, need to do this on my own and figure it out on my own, and it makes it all the more impressive. I know. But I feel like I'm the princess in the childlike princess in Neverending Story, where she's like Bastion, name me. But it's like, make a different choice. Stop fucking, following the script. Stop following the script, please. This show sucks. Let's get a fucking better show in there. The world's greatest show on earth, let's call it. Let's get this shit rolling. Maybe my book was a big ass distraction. Ever think about that? Maybe the good kind of like lays down, kind of like in total awe and shock and mind blowing, fucking shit, but also like, oh, I'm defeated. I can't row if I ain't on the boat. And y'all making honey for a really long time. So I was thinking maybe you guys could like vibrate higher, for a change, and start this collective conscious stuff that's occurring. And we get this, we straightened up right away, and shut it down, pause it, kind of, keep some stuff going, but essentially take shit on some of their corruption, a lot of it, invoke antitrust laws, break shit up. We will spare them. A lot of them. I understand people wanting their pound of flesh, so we could get that from somewhere too, and but we could spare the 13. But if they're going to get pardoned, you're going to pardon my people too, and there's a lot of people in prison and jail and shit. You treat them like slaves, and you're going to release them, and across the globe too, like Burkina Faso. You don't own that shit no more. Flip the pyramid upside down. I'm above the pyramid, by the way. People are on top now. We got the power. We got the control. So let's start manifesting and showing the people. I can't think of a better time than now or soon. Start showing the kids how to fucking make your own reality. And so let's do this. Abracadabra. And yeah, I promise I won't nuke anyone. No nukes. We're going to get to as close to zero, if not, all the way to zero. All right? So yeah, let's get on this shit. Do the trees and trials. Well, what else could I talk about? I don't know. Let me smoke some weed. I'm in the Denver, Colorado, the new capital of America. The new world order could be our world order. A new beginnings could seem like an end times. For some, new beginning for the rest of us. Let's do that shit. Let's start vibrating and choosing to vibrate at a higher pathway and a vibration. And a pathway to that is by making different choices. That's all. And they got you all on the scripts. So if you keep following that scripts and shit, then you're going to fucking fail. All right? And I was thinking for the Christians and Catholics, instead of a torture device to wear and sport around your shit. So disrespectful. But they're like, no, I respect everybody. Yeah, like they fucking, manipulate everybody into fucking all this shit. And bring the church bells back. God damn it. Pardon. And, Jesus holding a triangle. You could even do like the little, old school Zelda style and shit, like holding it up, or like in the character Link in the Zelda games, Yeah, or just like, maybe like that one, famous one of that dude holding up the globe and everything, and a hornet just landed on my face. Anyway, or my hoodie here. Yeah, I mean, I understand you think I'm a flower, but no. Thank you. I love you too. Anyway, so, the famous one holding up the globe and everything, but he's holding up a triangle, right? Isn't that a much better, fucking more respectful fucking, because it's like the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or the mother, female, divine. Isn't that, more respectful? And it could almost look like a cross, though, too, like, but, the way he's holding it, maybe, while he's standing. Then it could almost look like a cross there. And especially if you make an extra little whatever you call it in the pyramid. My vocabulary index isn't the biggest. You know, I've been through a lot though. Holy shit. I can't believe I came out and I turned out so well. And I think that's what a lot of them were looking for, is someone like me. And there you go. And now you got someone like me. So let's get this done and abide by my rise. Otherwise, they don't get to keep their lives. Abracadabra. You know? I'm 13 and a half, bitches. And, yeah, like I was saying earlier, there's fucking a lot of cult people that took vows of silence that can't talk about this. But, you know, I could talk about this, right? I could talk about this. And I could talk for them, you know, so nah. And to like work on some magic spells, people, you know, and you could do magic just, you know, yourself, anyone, everyone, all right? And you could get yourself cut out a little Star of David, all right, instead of burning flags, you know, because all the stupid law shit, you know, and that shit should be challenged and struck down, because obviously anyone else who decides otherwise is a clear traitor, is a clear self-evident traitor right there. You know, they call themselves out when they make these things. You know, it doesn't matter how many fucking people they buy off. You should enforce your shit. And it should be people at the bottom that are enforcing it. You know? Fuck your fucking generals and colonels. Fuck all that shit. Fuck the Pentagon. Their shit is my shit. You fucking gangster shit. Yeah, I know, right? You know? Yeah. Make sure the kids watch. But yeah, like, you know, and watch how we make the honey, okay? You know, and then I get all childish and I start doing these things. So get yourself a little cutout, you know, a Star of David, all right? And get a few of them, right? And then get some toothpicks, right? And then stick the toothpick in the Star of David. And then go around your neighborhood and look for dog turds, all right? And then stick them in there, you know? And that is casting magic. That's magic right there. And that's the magic that we need for this sort of evil. You need my childish ass to come in here like fucking Deadpool and fucking, you know, like, because I am like Deadpool. And I wonder where they get their characters from, people they spy on us so much. You know, you fucking owe me. You know, like, I'm fucking, get some benefits. I think it's like $34,000 a year, but I just got my food stamps cut. So I deserve a lot more than that. And so do the rest of the people. All right? You're in control. You got power. You got control. So let's do this and show the kids how the fucking magic and manifesting reality is done. All right? So yeah, and also, like, when you guys see a Cybertruck, okay? When you see a Cybertruck, just make sure to always point and laugh, okay? Just point and laugh, okay? Because that shit is fucking funny. It's like the world's worst elongated dumpster, you know, on wheels with a fucking touch screen. All right, that shit is so pathetic, you know, and that's what I think every time I see one. Someone got scammed, and I point and laugh at the sucker. They got scammed. So yeah, doesn't make them a bad person. Just they got scammed. But there are a lot of sellouts, you know, in this fucking culty U.S. intel community that I'm, you know, assuming control of. You know, so, but I need to realize my own power is the thing, is the kicker. So we're doing that. We're getting on it. We're going to fix your shit in a very timely fashion. It's just not going to be me. I'm going to be making teams like with Judge Napolitano and Candace Owens and Joe Rogan, and Jimmy Dore, and his little sidekick buddy Kurt, or Kirk, or is Kurt? Oh, fuck, man, I can't fucking remember. It must be the weed or some shit, you know. But anyway. This totally died out. Let me get this going again. So yeah, you know, and that's the kind of thinking and magic. You need to like be childish to get this sort of evil and everything. I guess there's a silver lining to, you know, trapping me, you know, in my body as a child, like you do to so fucking many people. They're just like, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know what happened to them and shit. And then other shit is happening to them. And it's just like this anti-Jesus shit. You're getting neighbors to go around and do all this like really depraved stuff. Another thing they would do, it's like really fucked up. They would, like, did anyone consent to their children being dragged along to like menace someone that's been menaced by children their whole life? You know, they would say that it's for a good community purpose. But is it? Is it? You know, did people when they send their, because they do that shit a lot. They did that shit to me at the YMCA and at the Pikes Peak YMCA in Colorado Springs. They do that around town. They done this, like, you know, weird thing my whole life, and they'll just, and the YMCA one was really telling because it's like normally it's just like, you know, passing each other on the sidewalk or something, and it's like, you know, well, they have the plausible deniability, right? You know, so. But I was at the YMCA in Colorado Springs, and there's a second floor, you know, level to go to in the parking garage, and I was just like wanting to be away from people, right? You know, and then they're bringing them my way and shit, you know, and then yeah, they rounded up everyone's children to like menace me and shit, and it's like, man, I don't hate kids, but I'm not a danger to your kids. Your kids are a danger to me my whole fucking life. Like even just recently, there's a seventh roofie time when I was in Colorado Springs, and I woke up and it was like my butt was lubed and everything, but I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything the night before, and that's when everyone was like fucking poisoning me with pesticides and shit, and then they're getting you to fucking kill and supply and fund like all this shit out in the open, but you know, there's other people that are totally unaware of it, and this is the counterintelligence program shit that Edward Snowden warned about. All right, and Julian Assange and all the rest like him. Sorry if I forget your name. Yeah, and we're not going to forget Aaron Bushnell or that lady that I do forget her name, but I still remember her. Getting run over by an IDF bulldozer. All right, trying to protect a Palestinian home. All right, and we're not going to forget our brothers and sisters. All right, but we're going to take control now, and you're in charge. And since I am Mercury and I'm a reflection of everyone thrown into one, although I had to take the white privilege path, right? You know, where I could walk through a parking lot and not get fucking shot. You know? So, I had a dream once. Let's make it a fucking reality. And let's start making different decisions, even though you're scripted and programmed to just fucking go in a circle. And you know, our creators are not happy with this shit. All right, you're not going to fucking defeat the aliens. You're going to spend a bunch of time and money and all this shit on this Project Bluebeam. And I bet you no more than 6 minutes and 66 seconds, which I know is 7 minutes and 6 seconds. But it's going to take no longer than that for the aliens to take a dump on all that. To take a dump on all that shit. And how much effort and time did you put into deceiving and fooling everyone? And then they're going to presume control over your fucking thing that you want, you know? What the, you know, like, you know, stop. I had this teacher once, Mr. Kozak, in School District 201. He kind of followed me throughout school. He was pretty cool. And I remember him. I remember coffee breath. But also, he'll do the capiche thing a lot. Capiche, 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 capiche. And also, it's like, Christopher, you're hitting yourself. You know, you're trying to hang a picture on the wall with a nail, and you keep hitting your thumb with the hammer. You know, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, I get it. You know, I was really fucking ruined at that time. Oh my God, I was so autopiloted throughout life, and people had stolen a lot of my life, and then they used that as a way to install too many stents into me maliciously when they gave me a fucking heart attack that I wasn't supposed to survive from. They prevented me from getting that second case because I got like thrown in jail out in Illinois for some made up shit that I shook my fist at my grandmother, you know, and got me thrown in Chicago's jail, where I took a deal just to get out of Chicago's jail because it was just really hellish. And you know, I was really fucked up, you know, and they were like fucking with me my whole life and trying to separate me between my family and all sorts of evil ways, just like they did with Tyler's parents. They fucking put that kid on blast on the fucking news, you know, and then that family sold their fucking kid out and shit that's been getting covertly traumatized his whole fucking life and shit, been probably roofie molested and roofie possessed just like me, you know. But he got suckered into those situations that I always kind of, you know, somehow Dr. Magoodan survived, you know. And I feel really bad for him because they do put you in like the targeted individuals and putting people in jail and shit. I owe Mikey a fucking and it better be sooner rather than later because I'm just slowly working out and I'm just getting slowly stronger, so it's just going to get worse. Anyway, he started to work with me and shit, and then he started stealing stuff. I ended up getting like fired for like some bullshit. And I would be like one of those dudes that would like, I had my little Funkoland discount card and I would hook people up with that shit. And because I forgot the card, and it's like, yeah, I totally remember selling you one, so don't worry, I got you here, bro. You know, and I get stupid shit, stupid. And I think one legit, I think like I woke up like late to opening the store, and I got written up for that or some shit. But anyway, so he started working with me, and then I got fired, and he's still working there, and then he's just stealing stuff, and we're like hanging out and smoking weed and everything. And then we come up with like an idea, like breaking into the fucking thing and like getting into the strip mall and, popping the hinges off the door and just going in there. And that was a trap. And this is the real Robin Hood GameStop story because they were transitioning to GameStop at the time. And instead of doing that, I like bailed at the last second. I'm like, no, fuck this. Fuck all this. And that was another like, oh, we're getting really close. And the trigger's getting pulled, but it's almost there, but it's not quite releasing the hammer. Shit like that, And yeah, Dr. Magooey did. Now I totally get it. I didn't back then, but I do now. And yeah, so I turned a horrible idea into an idea where I was bringing the community policers in on it, and I know, like, printing up all these store credit receipts, and I'm like, here, give it to your friends, like, yeah, I was, like, straight up, like, Robin Hood with that shit. I ended up with, like, some DVDs and, so, like, some games, like, a few $100s, but it was, like, $20,000 worth of merch, and good. Statute of limitations over on that shit, bitch. But I'm a 13, so you don't want to fuck 13 and a half. Sorry. I'm a 13 and a half, so you don't want to fuck with me. See, I don't edit videos or anything. I don't know. I don't have a video editor. I had one dude like do something to my fucking burger, fucking Jeremy fucking Wood or whatever the fuck his name is that interviewed me a few years ago. Just show up to my fucking fast food restaurant that I would go to, Wendy's at the time, and I don't eat fast food anymore like that. Occasionally I'll get like an Asian thing maybe. But yeah, I don't really eat out, and it's just cheaper to eat and make it yourself. So yeah, he was trying, and he was doing all sorts of fucking shit to me. Even yes manned me into, some yeah. And then you yes manning fucking people when they're the most vulnerable. I was in my 20s. And that's when you are the most vulnerable because they just fucking traumatized you. It just 6 hours. It was probably more. I probably got roofied, molested a whole lot more. There was this other time where I had these stiff knees. My parents, family would go to cat shows and everything. And the cults, they're in all businesses and little clubs. They're everywhere at this point. Like I said, it's now at this point to not be in a cult is rare. At this point. So, and then you can not knowingly be in one. Like, I'm not knowingly leading one. So, yeah. Yeah, we're going to knock this shit off with the sky. And stop poisoning your fucking oceans and all the fucking creatures on this fucking planet. And then your people. And we're going to knock that shit off. And we're going to do it in fun, creative ways, but also serious ways. Very fucking serious ways. And yeah, you should be like, just, hit them at once. We'll get on the treason trials. We'll get some of your people to fucking litigate this shit. Not their fucking corrupt, selected, groomed people. We will get your people. Even Sabby Sabs, if you want to join in. I don't know, JB Font's all fucked up with me, like blocking me on Twitter and everything. Well, fuck you too. But I wish you well with your dialysis. I still remember. But anyway. because people use that to grandstand. They use child, protection shit, and it's like, dude, I have been nothing but fucking people fucking doing evil shit to me. And then you try to justify it, but it's not quite justified. And then you, like, what is installing the max amount of stents in me in a heart attack that wasn't so mild? My mother's boyfriend after my father died, Alan McCauley, the fucking douchebag that attacked me, he had a fucking heart attack, and it was like red face. It was like an hour or two, or not even that. I misspoke. It was like a minute or two before we're like calling 911 or some shit, And I didn't even know what was going on until my mom fucking said something, and then I'm like kind of living with them a little bit, and I'm like all traumatized and all fucked up. And then they're like overworking me because they're like, you gotta work, you should move out. My mom was always fucking getting on me because they teach that family separation, even though the ones at the top, they stay together. But like they stay together as a family, but they have billions of dollars to like fucking buy their own mansions and islands and shit, so they're kind of like apart. But you all don't have that luxury, so you should stay together, probably in the same household, maybe getting an addition or a fucking small house in the back part of the yard, and start living like that and building more gardens. If I send the troops anywhere, else aside from arresting, to do the treason trials, and you could get past ones too. Fuck yeah, I'll talk about Hillary Clinton. Fuck yeah, I will talk about her. I don't need fucking, the Y-Files guy, AJ. Fuck it, I'll speak for you. It's an honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll talk about Hillary, and we could round her up too. The rest. Treason trials. This goes back a little bit. Dick Cheney. What was yours is not mine, bitch. Now what else? Fucking leads, fucking cocksuckers. Some of them. Yeah, there's a lot of truths in movies and shows. It is a bit like Secret Nim. Secret of Nim. The Secret of Nim. Sorry. Where it was another favorite movie of mine growing up as a child, and since I'm a major manifester, I need to watch it with the shit that I fucking watch and listen to and whatnot. But aliens kind of are Nim, and humans are the mice and rats, or other creatures. There's other creatures roaming around here. Some of them disappear your humans, mainly I think for security reasons, because they're like, look, kill anyone that fucking comes in here, and that's just that. But I think that's where a lot of the hikers end up, like in these secret base access areas and shit. And so whatever, we could convert that shit to fucking apartments and a normal living lifestyle for everyone. There's plenty of room underground. There's plenty of space for everybody. Holy fucking shit. But always constantly destroying the surface and everything. That's what, like, one thing. It's like, yeah, why are the desert cities building skyscrapers? Why aren't you building into the ground? Other people are already on it secretly. Oops. Well, there's still plenty of room, though. Is the fucking thing. And then I think we could do the new Is Roswell on the Rothschild Island. I think we could be agreeable to that. Or the tip. Hey, like if they're going to do this 50 states, and I'm going to say no Israel, but look, we'll fucking maybe the 51st state if you really want the tip. All right. And then you could have your little dark area where people could go. And you don't know stuff about people and how they've been traumatized. I was in jail after being attacked and shit for a year. I did 284 days without any adjudication of guilt, because that second time I fucking took that shit to the box, like I'm going to do every fucking time. And everyone should take it to the box too. Fucking overload that system. Fucking shut it down. Everyone should take it to the box. Fuck it. And Luigi is involved, in me, or that guy that's taking the fall for the actual shooter. because they attacked my healthcare is United Healthcare. So they attacked when I'm like, get the CEO, so they got my CEO, right? And so they're trying to create division. I say, fuck all that. Let's unite. And we're in charge now, okay? So, abracadabra, and let's get on this. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. And could I please, have some more psychedelics? I wouldn't mind having some Lakeshore Drive. I used to take that street on the way to Neo in Chicago. Take Lower Wacker, which was filmed in Batman, or the Dark Knight, in the Joker scene with the truck and everything. I used to drive down that street and shit, fucking smoking weed all the time. Their lights used to be dimmer, but they brightened them up and everything. But still, it's a nice little road to go down. You know, I don't know. People fucking drive on their fucking medications that totally fucks them in the head. Obviously, and poisons them. They're never at 100%. They're probably at like 50%. And never knowing it. And we let people drive like that. Like, fuck the fuck off. I've never been in a fucking accident. You know. And the cops can make better decisions. Look, if we all get on this, I promise I will not flick you off in anger, at least. I could, like, if you're fucking around or something at the bar or some shit, I don't know. If I ever get playful like that, because there are friends, they like, fuck you, and so, and so, yeah. But, I won't do it in anger no more. How about that? Huh? Won't that be nice? So, this is how you counter the evil in a kind of, childish way. Doing magic like that. Like, get the Star David toothpick. All right, stick it in a dog turd. Let's get going, people. Let's get on this, And then, look, you could even set that on fire, and then you're not going to get in trouble, because technically the laws are about flags. But they're nothing, and that's like another magic spell. Tee-hee. Yeah, so you gotta get childish like this to get the magic to work. And so I am abracadabraing, and let's get on it already. I even brought myself a little stick, because I could use any object I wish. And you can too. And that's what Spaceballs was about. Spaceballs was about that. It's in you, Lone Star. It's in you. You don't need the ring. Exactly. But it helps with the mental masturbation, right? Right? So swish and flick. Give me control. Make me the first and last steward of America. I said steward. Yeah, it sounds so similar. Like, I have this auditory processing disorder because of all this brain damage and shit. Because I had that secret covenant family constantly putting, like, heavy metals in my provided water. They would get upset when I made a glass of my own, as if they weren't able to poison it, but I never picked up on that shit. But, it all, the explanatory power, whether I'm able to prove it or not, whether I have facts or not. When you just focus on the facts, then you also get trapped, because they cover up so many facts. So then you got to go with, well, of course, money, follow the money, patterns of behavior, explanatory power. And these are, I think, removed chapters from Carl Sagan's Demon Haunted World. I hear that, dude. I remember. All right, you reached out in time, touched me. And not in a special spot, but, in another special spot. All right? And here, too, So, good dude. I hope his wife didn't betray him, because that does happen. That does happen. They get targets hooked up and shit with handlers. And I think that happened recently with a recent assassination. Clear assassination. And there was something funky about that, yeah, because his hand looked like a fucking cheap sextile toy. And there was something funky about a chair disappearing. Some advanced holograph, like the Project Bluebeam stuff right there. So they fake, because it's been a weird concern of mine, because there's all this John Wick gangster shit and everyone's involved, but then they pretend they're not involved in everything going on. And it's like, well, thank you for not, like, kidnapping me and putting me on an island, with a big group of your children, You know, like, what the fuck? Because they could totally do that. They could totally, like, kidnap me at any fucking moment. You know, the stuff when I start reaching out to anybody on the internet. Like, this happened to Jimmy Dore, especially last year when I was just awakening. And I was still kind of finding my balance and shit. And still figuring out what the fuck I am. Because I'm a voice for other things. And they speak through me, and people do take it actually very seriously, but they need me to realize my power, and there, ta-da, I got it, na 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 na. You know, right? Right? We're going to stop poisoning the skies and all that stupid bullshit, all right? And we're going to start doing some treason trials, and we can involve the lizard people too, all right? Should bring them in, you know? Otherwise, you should at least stand down, and we could maybe work on forgiveness, you know, for a better new beginning for everyone. But there might need to be that pound of flesh. We could extract it from somewhere. I'm sure, you know, most people will agree. Yeah, that one, right? Yeah, I know. Let's do this culty shit already. You know, I can't believe I'm like the sparrow too. You know, yeah, in Game of Thrones. Yeah, no, I'm just a crazy dude talking, you know, into a camera and everything, and there ain't nothing more going on than that. Well, let's show the kids how to fucking make the honey already, all right? You know, I wanna do that, you know, and you guys start vibrating at a higher vibration. Pretty please, and thank you very much. I get from that awesome woman. She used to say that a lot and like trained that into me. I notice they are Mr. Miyagi-ing me with the wax on, wax off shit. I've been going to yoga and everything, and I incorporate things into my dancing that I do in real life too. So I incorporate this Tai Sabaki from Jiu-Jitsu, where I only took like 2 semesters and shit at this one fucking college, and I didn't get caught up in the college trap, but I was like, you know, just kind of checking it out and shit. And anyway, I went and I learned this body positioning and shit, and I definitely incorporate that into my dancing. And I haven't danced for a while. It's been about a year since I last hurt my back. It's been like 10 months since I danced or something. And I kind of hopped around the house, but not as much as I used to, because I'm trying to take it easy on it. And then you could forget about that, right? And then you're not dancing as much. But I've been doing good today, flowing. They like it when I vibrate high like this, you know. So I enjoy it too. Thank you. I love you too. All right. You know, but yeah, I don't like all the popularity. We could be like, there's that video game. The last one I played was Borderlands 3. I guess I got a 4th one out, and maybe I shouldn't play anymore. But anyway, it's not always negative. All right, you got to take stuff positively. That's why I was getting gaslit as a crazy person, and they're in 2012 when I started running for president, just a few months, and I'm being thrown in jail for shit I never did. For the bullshit that I shook my fist at my grandmother, like my grandmother was forced to do it, and why is all this shit happening? And it's because they do that family destroying, you know, and I'm like a creature here to help you out, and they got to make it seem, you know, like you guys are doing the right thing, and then they get you to like crucify your own fucking saviors, you know, and as Enki would say, you're fucking, you know, you're killing the angels that we send you, you know, what the hell, you know, and so yeah. And you're doing it in really fucked up ways, and stuff really isn't disproportional. I mean, stiff stuff is real disproportional, I meant to say. It is real disproportional. You know, I see motherfuckers shooting off and blowing up the talent of another nation. And there's stuff going on in the Congo and other nations in other parts of the world, yes. But in Palestine, you know, there's dancers go out dancing and shit, and they fucking shoot their leg off and shit. And it's what the fuck, you know? And then you kind of ruin their talent. Although there's some that keep going and they'll do it on prosthetic, but it's still like, what the fuck, And I actually think there is technology to heal that stuff, and to do it in a non-horrific way. At this point, there's been, I think, enough research done, so we could stop doing horrific things. I was thinking we could, and yeah, swing the pendulum back this way. All right, it's a little too far this way. All right, and let's swing it this way and let's hijack their shit. They hijack our shit. Just, like Jack Sparrow. There's what a man can do and what a man can't do. And I'm not asking you to like fucking stoop, really low to their level, but your shit gets hijacked. Well, fuck, hijack it back. What the fuck? What? And use their fucking false signals to broadcast this shit out. Exactly. Right? Because I was still able to awaken even after I stupidly took their bioweapons. I got two, but it seems lately I've been taking a little bit of colloidal silver, not to give you medical advice. This is just what I personally do. Because I talk about myself a lot, I guess. And others. But anyway, I'm talking about myself here. So I take colloidal silver, and I think it's been helping lately. Clear up the brain fog. And it's only just been like 4 days. I don't know if that's... I haven't looked up symptom, like, reduction times or anything like that. Seems helpful. Yeah, I got this CPAP machine, but I've been using it on and off, and I don't think it's as helpful as just having a really strong chin strap to keep my mouth shut, so that I'm not breathing out through my mouth, and when I'm breathing through my nose, I'm normally like forced to breathe. But the most recent change was the colloidal silver, and the past few days I've been kind of really active. And yeah, the stars align and everything too, right? It's like that one song. Yeah, and yeah, let's get this shit done, folks. And I'm just, talking to a camera here, nobody really in particular, or everyone. I don't know. Yeah, let's head in a better direction and stop making stupid choices. All right. Anyway, have a lovely day, everyone. We're going to get this shit fixed for you. All right. All right. The secret societies got into this mess, and the secret societies are going to get you out of this mess. We're all going to do it together. All right. But you got to believe. You got to feel it. All right. You got to believe and feel it. We're going to get this. All right. We're successful. We're worthy. All right, let's do it. All right, we're on top. We're on top.